Welcome to AGORACOM, the small cap epicenter and beyond the press release, a tool in which public companies get a chance to speak with their investors in layman's terms to better explain recent press releases. With us today is Richard Goodwin. He's the Vice President of Mining over at Fire River Gold Mining, trades on their venture exchange under the stock symbol FAU, for our friends in the US on the QX under FVGCF, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under FWR. A little bit about the company if you don't know about them. This is a near-term production company. They've got an experienced technical team, and they're focused on bringing their flagship project, the Nixon Fork gold mine, back into production within the next 12 months. The Nixon Fork gold mine is fully permitted and a bonded mine with past production values averaging 39 grams per ton. Facilities at the Nixon Fork gold mine include a 200-ton per day flotation plant with a gravity gold separatation circuit. Today we're going to be discussing the company's press release on October 6th, in which they announced a mineral resource estimate for the Nixon Fork gold mine. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks, George.
All right, so great press release just the other day. A quick summary for everybody. Total indicated resources, 128,500 ounces of contained gold, and inferred resources of 74,600 ounces of contained gold. So good job on that note. Let's go a little deeper, though, to really get investors to understand the significance of this. First, let's talk about the work program leading up to the resource estimate. How's this been different from most other projects that we see out there?
Well, this project has had a significant history to it, so it took us a while to wade through the past data, sort of what was good, what was accurate, what needed to be replaced. And we did that over the period of almost a year. And we did a lot of duplicate assays, a lot of relogging of the core, compiling of the rock codes down to something we could manage. And I'm very pleased that this, our first benchmark release, is good like it is, and we're happy with where we came out because this is our starting point.
Now, it states in the press release that 94% of all the contained gold ounces are close to the current mine development, or, in the case of the tailings, on surface. What does that demonstrate about the project?
I think it demonstrates a couple of things. One is we're really looking at a resource that's been well defined. It is very close to infrastructure, so we can put a very short drift over to these ounces we're talking about. It also demonstrates that where we're drilling off of the existing development is going to continue to expand that. The flip side of the coin is, with 6% of the other resources in 5 different prospects, those really have not been well defined, and that's part of the nature of this ore body. It's hard to drill from surface, so what is well detailed has been drilled from underground.
Now let's talk about the 3300 zone, which you say is particularly important and it's anticipated to be the first mining zone when production resumes. Tell us why.
Well, it's a very high grade, and also the ramp has accessed it at quite a few locations already. And for some reason it got missed, and the 0708 drilling detailed really the upper portion of this zone largely, and that's where a lot of the really screaming hits that we've been putting out have come from, is from the upper part of this zone.
Now you're
it's a parallel zone to the main zone that was mined by Nevada. They mined the 3000, and this is the parallel, about 100-meter offset.
And that's just going a little off track here. That's significant, I think, because a lot of junior companies that I see on the venture exchange are very grassroots. They've got some geochem work, but it still seems like they're really taking a guess at what they need to do, whereas Fire River's got the advantage of some good historical work done there, right? And does that put that company at an advantage, or am I overestimating how valuable that is?
Oh, very much it puts us in an advantage. The best place to find a mine is where they used to mine, and that's certainly the case. The mining here goes back to the turn of the century. And the difference between us and most juniors is everything we find, if it's viable to do so, we can mine it. There's no hindrance to mining it. We have the infrastructure in place, the permits. So that's a huge jump over trying to prove enough forward to justify a major capital expenditure.
Now, educate me a little bit here, because I'm sure other investors are probably thinking the same thing. Where are you at right now with the indicated 128,000 ounces and inferred at 74,600 ounces? Is that enough, if you guys wanted to start producing little bits now? I know you may not do it for practical reasons, but is that sufficient if you wanted to at this point?
Oh, it definitely is. And mainly the reason for that is the capital requirement is so light. We're looking at 7.6 million required to complete the cyanidation circuit. And my guess at this point, we're going to flesh this up by the end of the year, but my guess is we only need about another 5 million to get the mine going. And both of those have very healthy a portion of that is working capital. So there's not really a lot of pieces we have to add. What we really need is the mine plan. And we're targeting somewhere in the 50,000 ounce per year range. So even with what we have, we're looking at 4 years. But more importantly, you get it into operation, you can extend that forward. So you're rushing like a lemming to the end of the cliff, but the cliff's always moving out as you drill forward. So
go ahead.
I anticipate getting it into production. It'll be multiple years of production, maybe as many as 7-10 years once you actually get it rolling.
So, and let's talk now about the 28,000 meter drill program, because I guess so. You answered my question that if you wanted to, if you really had to, if you had no other prospects left, you could actually produce what you've got there right now. But the 28,000 meter drill program, that's really intended to expand the resource. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there and what investors should expect over the next quarter to 12 months.
Sure. The drilling started with the 6%, like I said, the remote deposits that have a bit of resources in them, but we're looking to expand. So that began with surface drilling, and what we did was we fired up the underground and a drill that we own, expanded the mining crew. Very unusual for junior. We have a mine superintendent and a staff of about 10 underground miners, and they're doing the underground drill program. It's really two very different objectives from the two. One is the surface drilling is to expand these satellite deposits to prove up something that's worthy of mining. And the underground is really a small takeoff, either vertically or horizontally, on known mineralization. So trying to expand the resources specifically, rather than look for completely new ore bodies.
Let's talk a little bit about the price of gold, just a little banter. And I know you can't make any projections, or you don't even want to attach the price of gold to the feasibility of the project right now. But I've got to assume that everyone internally has got to be happy with what gold is doing. I mean, last night on the overnight, it cracked through 1,360 an ounce. Was this something the company was even anticipating at this early of a stage when you really first went after the Nixon Fork mine, or has this just been a great added bonus as to how gold has been performing over the last 18 months?
Oh, very much the latter. We've got a very robust project. Our PEA uses a price of $1,000 an ounce gold as its baseline estimate, and all the sensitivities were tested at $1,000 an ounce. So even our median price of $1,200 has been well exceeded now. So at these kind of prices, we're looking at very much blue sky, very much icing on the cake here for us.
And the $1,000 gold number, I've seen some economic assessments where what they use is a worst case scenario. Is that the worst case scenario for you, where you can't do anything with this under $1,000 an ounce, or is that more or less a case of that's just a base case where it's still profitable and you just want to use a really conservative number?
We just used a really conservative number. It's robust. It still wound up with a 24% IRR on the tailings PEA, but it was a good conservative starting point. We didn't anticipate gold would explode through the course of our work, of course.
Yeah, and I got to admit, I think I speak on behalf of most shareholders and people in the investment community that it's great that you're sticking to that base case, because hey, you don't know if gold takes a $200 drop, so you don't want to be ping-pong back and forth with your base case. So you use 1,000, you're under promise, and then when the time comes, hopefully you'll be able to overperform, because when you actually start taking this stuff out of the ground, then you'll have a much higher gold number to work with.
Well, exactly so. And I don't like projects that rely on very high prices to make them launch. They need launch criteria at much lower values to make them worthwhile, because it builds in the contingency.
Last question for you. You've been doing drilling on an ongoing basis. So are there more drill results? I think you've talked about this publicly in press releases, but I don't remember them all off by heart, unfortunately. But there are more drill results expected coming out on a regular basis over the next 3-4 months.
Yeah, the first ones will be coming out very shortly, and then they'll be metered after that as we get them. Right now, with all the drilling going on, the labs are very backlogged, so we've been disappointed in how long it's been taking to get our assays, but we'll get them out as soon as we can.
I guess that's a downside. Back in the beginning of the decade, back in 2000, you could probably get them overnighted back to you because there wasn't anything going on. There was no, everyone was in .com land, and you could probably get them purelated back and forth in 48 hours. So I guess one downside, but a good indicator for shareholders and everyone is, hey, the labs are full because the industry is robust right now.
Absolutely, and that's part of the nice thing about our company is we're poised in the right place at the right time. So, the price of gold's certainly not going to hurt it.
Well, I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that October 6th press release, the mineral resources estimate there was a great number. Good to see that the drilling is ongoing, that progress is ongoing, and that we have a lot to look forward to. Is there anything that we've missed, that I've missed, maybe that was important that investors should really understand about this press release?
Yeah, I think the one thing to stress is we are getting the mine ready for drilling. We're getting it ready for production as well. We're doing a lot of activity right now at site. Like I say, we have a large staff, both underground miners and supervision. And as we prepare things for the drill program, we've also prepared them for mining. So if we started cold with a checklist of things we have to do before putting the mine in production, we have crossed quite a few of those off the list, and we're continuing to do so. So the mine should be well ready by spring of next year, and assuming we get a positive result in our second PEA on the underground mining, which is coming out in December, then we'll be ready to go in the spring.
Well, Richard, we're going to be back on with you via satellite at that time to talk about those numbers. I'm very optimistic, very hopeful that they're going to do well, and you've got a great team over there led by Harry Barr, and good history there. So I anticipate nothing but the best. Naturally, in this world, you always have to plan for both, but we're really looking forward to those results.
Excellent.
This has been Richard Goodwin of Fire River Gold, trades on TSX Venture and FAU. We've gone beyond the press release via satellite here on Skype to discuss the company's October 6th press release, the mineral resource estimate for the Nixon Fork gold mine. If you want to find out more about the company and more about this press release, get over to AGORACOM, punch in Fire River Gold or search for their stock symbol. That'll take you straight to the hub. You can take a look at the press release and then ask any questions, and we'll get the answers right back to you. Until next time, thanks for joining us. Richard, have a great day, and say hello to everyone over at Fire River Gold.
Thanks, George. Will do.
Have a great day.
You too.